Like,
Welcome
what?
back, everybody, to the show. This is episode 7 today, and we are doing quarterbacks. I hope you guys enjoyed that little minute there with Scott talking in the front there. But yeah, so today we're going to run down fantasy quarterbacks. We have a list of 15 each. It's going to get kind of wild because these guys are absolutely lunatics, and I guess
Yeah,
I'm
we're
a lunatic too, according to them. So we're going to start the show off with the top of it, going with number 1. And I think it should be pretty much unanimous. I've got Lamar Jackson there. I would like to say it's Patrick Mahomes this year, but I've got Lamar there. So,
Yep. Go ahead, Scott.
I'm a huge Mahomes fan. I want to put him number 1, but just with how rushing quarterbacks are scored, like assuming Lamar rushes for 1,000 yards, which he probably will, he would only need to throw for 2,500 yards to essentially like equal 5,000 passing yards as far as fantasy points go, which is just completely broken. So I feel like he will do that and probably throw for 3,000 yards and maybe 3,500 and probably get 40 all-purpose touchdowns. And I don't see how you can't put a guy like that number 1.
yeah, I mean, I completely understand the argument there, and that's why I have him there as well. I feel like what he does with his legs, I mean, is he a traditional quarterback? No. But, I mean, hey, the running back's got moves, all right? So, I mean, he's insane. I mean, he put up probably... What was it the most yards on the ground since Mike Vick? I mean, did he break? Yeah.
It was the most ever.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he
Most
broke
ever.
his record, but I wasn't sure on that for sure. I mean, what he did last year was historic, and I mean, I don't see a repeat in that exactly. Especially
not.
with running quarterbacks, you see like a lot of them decrease after their first big year breakout like that because teams start to key in on it really hard in their next years. They don't want to get abused like that following in their career, and so I see a lot of teams trying to key in and try to stop the run on him. But I mean, he still has just an insane ability with his legs to where it's not going to be completely stopped, and he's going to put up some crazy numbers again next year.
His
So.
supporting cast is also insane. Like he has Ingram and Dobbins to like be just decoys essentially, and you have to key in on those guys.
Yeah, and then receivers wise, he has some legit threats at receivers too. I mean, Marquise Brown is a freaking speed burner who's speed only matched by Tyreek Hill. So
I think they're
He has Mark
tight
Andrews.
ends. Yeah, I think they're
And Hayden Hurst.
like
yeah.
Hayden Hurst or no, they don't have Hurst anymore.
Really?
Yeah, he went to Atlanta.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I
Yeah.
think you're right.
The offensive
but,
line
like,
over there gets a little weaker. I mean,
Yeah,
they let
Still,
Marshall
I'm-
Yonda retired this year, so that's a big hit for them.
not worried.
No,
He's
I mean, but I mean, like Marshall Yonda was the best player on that offensive
a
line.
legend.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
and him
for
retiring is definitely gonna make the offensive line a little bit, a little worse than it was
Weaker.
last year.
Yeah.
So I mean, that might indicate a little bit of yardage there, here and there. But I mean, I really see like a big repeat there. I really see him getting quite a bit of yards next year, just not as many as last year. He's not gonna have historical numbers again, but he's still probably gonna be the number 1 player in fantasy again. That's probably my
Yeah.
bet.
I think he'll have over 1,000. Like that's.
I mean,
I think
Yeah.
that's pretty.
I think
Looking at his game logs from last year, no one at all even came close to figuring out that offense.
no.
So I don't think they're going to be able to, at least in the first half of the season this year. I'll be kind of shocked if they do it by the second half as well. But.
Personal opinion on it is last year you had Chris McCaffrey be the number 1 player overall in total PPR stats, and then Lamar was number 1 in standard ranking. I think honestly it's gonna be Lamar on both this year. I don't see Chris McCaffrey's numbers being as high they were last year. So I think this year's gonna be Lamar Jackson running away with it. So I mean he's gonna be the first quarterback selected on a lot of boards. So
Unless you got a Mahomes fan draft him before you, then you got a
yeah,
chance.
so
But
I mean
Yep.
that's Scott for us. So we're good there.
I don't draft quarterbacks in the first.
He doesn't draft quarterbacks at
Dude.
all because this year I'm blocking. I'm gonna draft 15 quarterbacks.
All right, please do that. I beg you.
You're
if any
not
of you
gonna-
out there might be, questioning Wicked's draft techniques, we did a mock draft, and I think he took 4 quarterbacks.
It
so-
was all late. It was all late. I took 4 quarterbacks with Browns like 11 to 15, and it was just because they hadn't drafted a quarterback yet. And I was like, all right, well, fine. I'm gonna block the crap out of them.
Big piece of advice if anyone's kind of new to fantasy out there. You can get like a top 15 quarterback in like round 8 of your draft.
Yeah.
So
He
take,
had a top
you know,
10 quarterback like round 8.
first
Our
7
draft-
rounds.
Our draft is nutty. We have some people in our draft that like to draft quarterbacks really high on the board. Hayden is one of them. He drafted one Aaron Rodgers with pick
I did it
4 a couple
once.
years ago. So, like, quarterbacks
Last
in our
year,
round.
I got Dak Prescott. I got Dak Prescott in the 10th round last year.
I'm just saying.
And he
like,
was,
it's
and he
one
was
of
the
those.
QB3.
It's one of those things where quarterbacks in our league are valued a little higher. So, I mean, it's essential to kind of get one a little bit better in our league because of that.
I'm not.
Definitely is essential. They get a lot more points in our league than other players. So, all right. So we're all agreeing it's Lamar Jackson number 1. I mean, I could see him.
Unfortunately.
I see him around 900 to 1,000 yards. I mean, I don't know if it'll be over the 1,000-yard number this year. I think it'll be close. I mean, but
900's still like
and
phenomenal.
I said it's gonna be close. I mean, like, yeah. I see a big numbers on the ground for him, but passing wise, I don't think he's gonna be as high of touchdown interception rate as he was last year. I don't see that repeating. I mean,
Why is that?
I didn't feel like when I watched him play, I didn't feel like he was elite with his arm. You know what I mean? Like,
He only threw for 3,000 yards and
I mean,
I think 30 touchdowns. So like his
Hello?
I don't think his like
I
passing
think
stuff can really go down from that. Like,
Well, I think the
that's-
touchdowns
that's
go down.
pretty low.
I think the
Okay.
touchdowns go down a little bit. I think 30 was a pretty big number last year. Like I said, I think he's having a little more pressure on him this year. I think a lot more people are going to be blitzing him a little harder, get him to scramble out a little bit more, and try to decapitate.
He can run some more. Get
Well,
more
I mean,
rushing
I think if
yards.
teams are smart, they're going to spy a middle linebacker on him and then blitz the ends and try to force him into the middle linebacker. That's what I really think they're going to be trying to do.
Yeah, but your spy needs to be faster than him.
There's a
Not
lot of
like many-
linebackers in the league that are pretty fast nowadays. So,
as fast
I
as
mean,
him.
I mean, I'm not saying as fast as him. They got 10-yard jump on him. Okay, calm down.
That doesn't
So
matter.
last year he threw 36 touchdowns. I kind of
Yeah.
agree with Wicked. I think they're going to go down.
I've
I
got
could see
him.
maybe going like 30, but I'm just thinking like
I've got him
he
at
had-
25 to 27 is what I've got him at.
he had quite a few, if I remember, like long bombs to Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
And maybe those don't come this year, but like I'm just like picturing like you get down to like, you know, first and goal, second and goal or whatever.
And
He just scrambles around. I bet you either Mark Andrews or Mark Ingram or
Or be wide
Hollywood
open,
Brown is
just-
going to be open in the end zone somewhere.
No, I
If he
can
can
see
keep that play alive
I
for
can
like
see that.
6-7 seconds scrambling around,
I mean, I can see
I
that.
think he's just going to hit so many short touchdowns like that.
that's
I
because
can,
like
I can
he
see that.
honestly
Like I said,
didn't get
I'm not
too many
seeing it. I'm not seeing it
bombs.
go like drastically. I'm saying like 25, 27. It's going to be a solid number. I just don't
Yeah.
see him putting up over 30 again. So that's just me personally.
I think he'll be around like 30, probably like
Yeah.
30 and 10.
Yeah,
touchdown
I think
receptions.
all purpose. I think he gets 30, 35, 30, 36 again. All
all
purpose.
purpose. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen.
But-
So does he win the MVP again?
No.
Mm,
I don't think so.
no. Has anyone ever won it back to back?
Didn't Peyton win it back to back? I thought.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I know Peyton
Yeah,
won
I
4.
don't know.
I know he won 4. I thought 2 of them were back to back.
I could see if Mahomes stays healthy, he might win it again.
I mean, personally, and I feel like it's just because he's been shafted a few times now at MVP. My early vote MVP is Russell Wilson.
Oh. Or Breeze, honestly.
I mean, Bree-
Manning
Bree-
did win it back to back,
Yeah.
2008, 2009.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I was gonna say 07, 08, and I was gonna be off by a year, but I was thinking yeah. But yeah,
Well, moving on.
yeah. No, my early MVP vote is Russell Wilson. I thought
That's-
Wilson had a better
that's
year last
pretty
year
solid.
overall as a quarterback than Lamar, and I feel like the
We'll
running
talk about
yards
Wilson
put
in a
him
bit,
over.
but-
I mean, that just kind of got me mad. All right, but number 2 is Patrick Mahomes. For
Yeah,
me,
he's my.
Yep.
yeah, okay,
he's
so
my
this is
favorite.
pretty simple. All right, Patrick Mahomes
Man,
could
just
honestly be number
a
1.
gunslinger.
Yeah, he could honestly be number 1.
His
in a lot of
arm and his
people's-
weapons. That's all you need to know.
I mean, there's
And
only
his offense.
one person that has the kind of arm he has, and that's Josh Allen. And Josh Allen is nowhere near as accurate as him.
Yeah, I thought this
Um,
man was about to say Teddy Bridgewater. I was going to disconnect right now.
No, it's Josh Allen. And Josh Allen's not even nearly as accurate, and it's the only comparison I could say for that arm strength. That arm strength is elite. It's unreal. And having a weapon like Tyreek Hill, you honestly can't go wrong. It don't matter.
Always
if you,
have to worry about him.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you draft here. If you draft Lamar or Patrick Mahomes, if you can snag the weapon with them, you've got points locked. I mean, if you can get either Hollywood Brown or Tyreek with that pick, you're gonna have like a crazy amount of points lock. I mean, so
Hollywood.
Definitely Hollywood. Hollywood's gonna get a lot of streaks downfield where they could be huge plays for touchdowns, and like he was saying, he could get a lot of open inside the 5. I mean,
yeah. If I was gonna handcuff a receiver, I think I would go with Mark Andrews.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would. That's what I would do.
I would definitely.
I'm not saying Hollywood.
I think Hollywood gets better this year than he did last year. I mean, personally,
I think he probably will too. To be honest, I think he'll be more consistent.
Yeah, but Patrick with Tyreek is just insane, and it's like one of those things where like.
And Kelsey too. Like
and Kelsey. There's so many weapons there. I had a friend in another league last year that had Sammy Watkins and Patrick, and when Sammy had like the 50-point game, it was just an insane amount of points from them two. I mean, I think he had like 112 points between them two alone. I mean, that wins you a game pretty fast. So, I mean, Patrick Mahomes has the ability and the arm strength to be a number 1 at any time. I mean, so easy pick there.
He was 6 last year.
Yeah, but he was injured for 5 games.
I mean, or 3.
Did he finish that high?
Yeah, he finished really high and he was injured.
I thought he was lower.
I thought he was 6.
This one has him as
his early rankings are 2 right now.
He's 8. Yeah,
he's 8. Okay, I think in our league it was 6 because standard is 4-point touchdown, and I think ours is 6.
Yeah, it says he missed 2 games.
Yeah, 2 games. That sounds
I thought it was out for more than that.
Nah, it was only 2.
Packers got real lucky playing Kansas City one of those 2 weeks.
But yeah, no, I mean he was banged up a lot though too. I mean there was times where he was off the field because of just because they didn't want to get him hurt again. I know his first game back he only played 3 quarters. They were blowing him out and pulled him. I mean they did it to him a couple times that year, so he didn't get injured again. So I mean I can see him playing a full season again, all 4 quarters. Yeah, all 4 quarters, full season. Yeah. He's gonna be like on the running to be number 2 in the league or first in the league. So
I think so.
I mean Patrick Mahomes is pretty safe bet for anybody to draft there. I've got 3 is Russell Wilson.
I have 3 as Kyler Murray.
Wow.
I also have Kyler Murray.
At 3?
Kyler Murray. Yeah.
At 3?
Just off of rushing.
Is this the rushing show? Like, are we just going off of rushing stats now? Any quarterbacks that can run? It's just going to be that situation?
Yeah. Rushing quarterbacks.
There's just no way. There's no way. I can't have that with you. I have Kyler Murray at 11.
He finished 7 last year. I think he's going to get better this year.
I don't think he's going to be in the same.
He's not. Yeah, no. He's not going to do.
You think he's going to get worse?
How do you with DeAndre Hopkins?
I don't see him being in the top 3. I don't see him in that company at all. I don't see him in top 5 or top 10. I mean, personally, I feel like there's other quarterbacks on my list that are definitely going to have a better year than him.
How do you add the best receiver in the NFL and get worse?
I think exactly what we talked about in the DeAndre Hopkins situation is going to happen, where you're going to have to fit DeAndre Hopkins into that system, and he's not going to come out in the first couple days. I mean, it's going to be 5 weeks before we see any big numbers from DeAndre Hopkins, in my opinion.
Right, but it's still going to help Kyler overall, though.
No, I don't think.
Are going to have to focus on that.
I think honestly, Kyler's going to have a sophomore slump and not have as great of a year.
That's fair, I guess, but I think his rushing
floor.
I'm
degressing on Kyler and not overcompensating there, so for sure.
He could have a sophomore slump, but I think adding, not adding Kenyon Drake, but Kenyon Drake's gonna be there from week 1 now, and he's gonna have DeAndre Hopkins. I think the rushing touchdowns are gonna be there for Murray, and I think he's gonna have more passing touchdowns.
As you guys saw in the previous episodes, I'm not high in that offense. I got Kenyon Drake ranked at 20 in my running back, so.
Yeah, well.
I mean.
we can't really.
It's wild. That's wild.
If it makes you feel better, I do have Russell Wilson at 4.
That does make me feel a little better, but I feel like you're slighting him a little bit there. I mean,
those 2 could easily be changed in my mind.
Wasn't he number 2 overall last year?
Wilson? No, it was the person you hate so much.
Okay,
it was
so
the
Wilson was 3
so
then, right? Because I'm not talking about Jameis, because Jameis had 30 for 30. So
you have to count him though.
Okay, but I'm talking about overall, as in like touchdowns and receiving yards as a QBR rating. He was 3, I think.
Oh,
touchdown. I'm talking about QBR rating for sure. I'm not going off of yardage at all, because yardage does not mean like your.
Now I was just going off of fantasy points.
Yeah.
I'm going off
last
of QBR ratings, and I'm pretty sure the number 3 or 2 quarterback in the league last year was Russell Wilson, because I feel like he got completely shafted in the idea of an MVP award. He had a higher touchdown to interception rate and more passing yards than Lamar Jackson, and just wasn't
But
even in the
QBR
conversation.
doesn't necessarily equate to fantasy points.
Yeah, but I'm talking
I
about.
mean, there's definitely a correlation, but
I mean, like he had an
Wilson
extremely
was
amount.
Wilson was 5th in QBR.
5th. Okay, so
Yeah, behind Lamar, Mahomes, Breeze, and Dak.
yeah, so it's pretty. I mean, pretty close. But my point is like Wilson was like insane last year. I thought like I mean, what, like 30.
He was really
6 or 35.
inconsistent,
What
if I remember.
You don't remember them because he was like 35 touchdowns for like
Really?
4 interceptions or 5 interceptions.
That's
Not inconsistency
pull
at
up the-
all. I
Pull
mean,
up the game logs though,
yeah,
and see like
his touchdown interceptions 31-5.
Yeah.
Definitely solid. Games.
his passing yards were what, like 4,200 yards or something like that? 4,300 or something?
that's
41.
not that.
Yeah, that's not
I'm just
inconsistency.
ta-
Wet. That's not inconsistency.
Well,
No, that's you have to.
He
look
also
at
had
his
another
game.
400 yards on the ground with I think 5 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns. Like that's
You
not
have to
inconsistency.
look-
Offensive line in Seattle was awful last
my
year. He had to
gosh.
scramble out to throw off the back foot numerous times.
and they didn't draft offensive linemen, I don't
Yeah,
think.
they
this
did
year.
not. So he's going to be playing off the same situation he was last year, which he has for the last 3 years, putting up freaking great numbers. I mean, he's a great quarterback.
He did
trying to
have some
find the game.
inconsistent games last year.
Thank
Granted,
you.
so like one was against the Rams. That's a division matchup, so you got to like cut him some slack. But he had no touchdowns, rushing or throwing under 300 yards. And
Well,
then
what was the final of that game? Though?
Baltimore,
Wasn't that a low-scoring game?
28-12. Wasn't low scoring on one side. Baltimore, super tough defense. You gotta take that with a grain of salt too. But definitely not a good game. 1 touchdown, under 300 yards. Arizona, another division matchup, not great. Doesn't look like he does not play well against division matchups.
He beat San Fran at San Fran.
Yeah,
Still eating that one over
This
there.
is
aren't
true,
you?
but he only did it with 1 touchdown. So fantasy wise, not
yeah,
great.
that's not a good game.
I mean, he's still my
Fantasy.
third-ranked quarterback for fantasy, no doubt. I mean, if he's
He's
still a good
insanely
quarterback.
talented. I'm just
Yeah,
talking
he's
strictly fantasy.
I think
Yeah,
fantasy, he's just
exactly.
fine. I mean, he had you said 4 games inconsistently. Okay, 4 games. I don't call that inconsistent play when you
I would
have
say
4 games.
he had 7 games that are inconsistent. They're not good.
Crap, 7 games? Like,
No,
One,
you can
2,
go
3, 4,
look at
5.
I think that's wild.
Okay, maybe we'll go with 6 games.
That's wild. You're wild. I can't.
It's not. Look at the stats.
All right, are you just saying inconsistency is like because he's got like not
Against
doesn't have
his
400
last
yards?
game against Arizona, he had less than a 50% completion percentage, under 200
many
yards,
yards?
and 1 touchdown.
200
He had
yards, 1 touchdown.
160 throwing
So
yards.
that's
Not a
one.
good
It's one.
fantasy
That's one game. What? Shut up. That's one game.
We'll go, okay, against Arizona the other time, he had 1 touchdown, 240 yards.
Also
Okay.
That's not a good fantasy
Okay.
game.
Give me all the games that he had under 300 yards. How many?
Uh,
I mean, it's the touchdowns
14.
we.
He had what?
Oh, he had
14 games
Under
under,
300 yards.
yeah. He had 1 300, 1 406. The others are, oh no, there's a 378. Sorry, he had 13 games under
Okay.
under 300 yards.
How many games under 300 yards did Patrick Mahomes have?
Uh,
And we're not counting the 2 games, so obviously he only played 14.
14. Okay. Game log under 300 yards. 7.
So that's not a crazy number difference. I mean, it's 5-game difference.
6?
So I would say 5.
6?
5 math.
6. 7, 6, and this is 13.
I mean,
Yeah, 6.
I'm not gonna put that as a
One
crazy
game
difference.
Mahomes had like to go on the other side of the argument was horrid. It's 76 yards.
But okay, so
That was
basically,
probably the game he got injured.
is he
I'm assuming.
inconsistent or is
Might
he
have been.
consistently a 250-yard player?
Yeah, for me, the
So I'm
yardage
just saying.
doesn't really determine consistency.
Yeah.
It's more
consistency.
about those.
Fair point.
It's about those touchdowns, like, because if you have a couple games with 6 and then some
I don't
with,
feel like
1,
250 yards is a bad game. I mean,
No. I think as far as fantasy goes for quarterbacks, it's really touchdown dependent. And so like
Yeah.
if you have a few games that have like 5 or 6, it's like great, like you're winning those weeks. But at the same time, if you're also having like a good amount of games with like 1 or 2, like you're probably not winning those weeks. And if
So
you're gonna
Wilson had 6 games last year with 1 or less touchdown.
like that kills you in
I get that. I get that. I mean, I'm not saying.
I just don't want that in my top 5 in a top 3 quarterback.
He's definitely a top 3 in my eyes. So I mean, I feel like last year was a great year for him overall. I mean, like I said, he's top 10 QBR, top 10 yardage, top 10 in touchdown rate. I mean, he's a great quarterback overall last year all day.
He was second in the MVP race. Like he was.
I mean, like
he's a good quarterback.
I feel like that's why he's my early nod for the MVP next year. I feel like he's
especially if you watch the games where he is throwing those 3 touchdowns, he probably scrambles on like 80%.
It's every time. It's every one of them. It's every one of them. I mean, he has no time in the pocket to be putting up the numbers he puts up. So if he gets any help from his offensive line this year, you're looking at a threat, a legitimate quarterback threat to take the number 1 spot.
Any offensive line moves.
Well, maybe the offensive line's going to get better. Like, come on, it takes. They're in training camp. They're getting better every day. I mean, it's not like they're coming in and be the exact same offensive line they were last year. So I do expect improvement there, and I expect him to be better. Plus, they're talking about bringing in Marshawn Lynch. That's a pretty big point for him to get a little bit more help there, because Marshawn Lynch is a pretty good blocker to block for him whenever he does any like run back blocks. So, like, I'm okay with the move, and I'm perfectly fine putting him at 3 still. And like I said, he 250-yard game to me is a pretty solid game, and I mean I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I mean I know you want to sell it on touchdowns.
5, so.
You want to sell him on touchdowns, and that's fine. That's your opinion, but I really do think you taking him as a top 3 quarterback. That's fine. I think honestly though, and just to put this in perspective for everybody that's watching, if you're taking Russell Wilson before like the 6th round, you're taking a quarterback too high. Like anybody at this point is literally 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 15 in round counts. The only 2 quarterbacks that you can ever justify taking higher than that is Lamar and Patrick, and that's just facts.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'd agree with that.
So
I could see taking Murray in the 5th.
I was comparing him to Patrick for the reason of like Patrick puts up probably the most 300-yard games. So being on a difference, like being a 6 game difference,
he can pop up for like 5 touchdowns.
Exactly.
Very
I mean, put
easily.
him as a 6 game difference. To me, that's fine. With putting him at 3rd. I mean, that puts him in a good situation. It's good company.
There's a huge drop off between quarterbacks. Like 1 and 2 go like round 1 or 2, maybe 2 or 3 if you're in like a running back wide receiver heavy draft.
Yeah.
But then you drop to like round 6 or 5 after that. So.
Yeah. Which is,
or later. I mean, or later.
And then when we get down to like quarterback 10, 11, 12, you're talking like round 9.
Are like,
two years ago when I won the league, I went off of Big Ben the whole year. Big Ben, I got in round 12. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And in all honesty, like right here, I'm telling you right now, Big Ben's on my list. Like I don't know about you guys, but he's on my list and he's high.
Yeah.
He's
not high on mine.
He's fairly high on mine because Big Ben is a great fantasy quarterback and always has been. I mean, he
is a good fantasy quarterback.
So like,
I just don't know how he'll be without Brown.
Well, I mean, that's something I'm going to gamble on, but I'm definitely going to put him high on my list because of previous years. Like he is a great fantasy quarterback. I mean, that's just what he is. I mean.
All right. Well, I guess moving on to 4, since we talked about all of our 3s, I think.
Go ahead.
Or did we talk about Murray or not really? I mean, we glanced over him.
You could talk about him if you want. I've got him on the list. We can talk about him later too if we want to.
I just think that Well, I just want to say that I think that offense is really scary and high-powered, and I think he's just going to get a lot of the touchdowns.
I think he's got a lot of weapons, and it could be a boom or bust situation, like for sure. He could have a really great year and just
his rushing floor, I think, is really safe.
We could blow a lot of predictions out of the water and just have a great year, or he could have the sophomore slump and literally lose himself in all the targets he has. He has so many targets; he's never had that many options. He might just get lost trying to figure out who he wants to throw to. I mean, so
I don't know about that, but
I'm just saying, like, you never know about the second-year quarterback situations. They always have up and downs. So
yeah.
So
I agree more with Scott on that. I have Kyler ranked at 3rd, but
go baby girl.
I guess I'm cautiously optimistic because I could also see him having somewhat of a sophomore slump. That does happen. Happened to Cam, I believe.
Yeah.
He came off that amazing rookie year, and
go Brooklyn.
To Goff, I think too.
Yeah. So it does happen. It could happen. I don't know. What round would you take Kyler in? For me, it's like
Fifth.
5.
I take him fifth,
Yeah,
fifth, sixth.
yeah.
I mean,
I
yeah.
take him mid fifth. I wouldn't take him early fifth. That's for sure.
I'm probably further out than that.
Well, yeah, you have him ranked at what, 11? You said.
Yeah, I'm not high on Baker on Kyler
man.
this year. I mean, I really feel like I'm going to see a lot of like remblance of Baker Mayfield in Kyler this year. So I don't
There-
see a lot.
You just don't like OMU, huh?
That's true too.
Oh man. All
I
right.
don't have
Moving
a
on.
problem with OU, but I do have a problem with Baker.
My number 4 though is Aaron Rodgers. So
Oh my.
I would love if that.
I
that was
mean,
true.
again, back to the whole like just like I said about Big Ben. Aaron Rodgers is a pretty consistent fantasy quarterback. Last year was probably his worst year in fantasy in the last decade. I mean, can anybody agree
Yeah.
with that?
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
he's gonna have a fully healthy Devontae Adams this year. I feel like
Yeah.
the other receiving core is gonna get better.
Yeah, his
Um,
best game without Adams.
I know, but I mean,
last
I
year.
feel like the rest of the receiving core is gonna get better. He's gonna get to the part where he's ready. He wants to win another championship. That's what he wants to do, and I feel like that team has the ability to be seen deep in the playoffs. I mean, so
Well, yeah, they made it to the NFC Championship. Of
I mean,
course.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it's gonna be a consistency. I think we're gonna see them out there deep next year, and I feel like maybe we're talking about a possible Super Bowl berth. Maybe. I mean, I don't know if he can pull it off in the NFC. I think Seattle's probably the favorite in my opinion over there right now. But
I just think with Matt LaFleur there, like that team is a new team offensively, and they don't like rely on Aaron Rodgers as much as they did with Mike. And so I just think his stats stay about the same as they were last year.
I think he definitely has an increase this year in his numbers compared to what he had last year. And I think we're talking about him being back in fantasy relevancy. I mean, just being there, being relevant.
He was
again.
last year. Like
I think
he-
we're
he
talking.
that 10, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're
Yeah,
talking about
he
top
was still
5
10.
though. I think he's back in the company of a top 5 quarterback, and I think it's gonna really impact the Packers as a whole, and they're gonna be a very solid team next year and be one of the teams to beat. So it's Aaron Rodgers, guys. I mean,
Y'all, you don't gotta tell me. I use it's Aaron Rodgers as an argument all the time.
That's like Hayden's favorite. Those are his favorite words.
exactly.
I
So
mean, yeah, I think you gotta listen to Stephen A. Smith on that one. He's a bad man.
he is.
2014, 2016, he finished number 1, so it's definitely possible. But I mean,
I
Like Scott
think
said, that was a
those days
different
are long
offense.
gone. Honestly,
So,
I'm sorry. He
we'll
also
see.
had better, like his weapons that year were insane.
Yeah. Ask Scott.
But-
They crushed him in the championship.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, you drafted him
That-
4th overall and won the championship.
Yeah,
Was that in the house league, Scott, or was that in?
That was in our league.
yeah. That
That was
year-
when I played Jordy Nelson and Devontae Adams in the same week.
Yeah, that was
Rodgers
no.
threw for like 5 touchdowns, all 5 to them.
I think this
Yeah.
is the year you see with Aaron Rodgers with a bounce back in the high numbers and the high touchdown rate, and just everybody's just getting fried on. I think Aaron Rodgers is about to fry again. So
We'll see.
I mean,
I hope
think
you are
who-
correct.
that's me personally.
I have him
At
at
mine-
8, by the way. I don't have him super low. I just
I mean, that's not bad. I mean, Wet probably
I'm
has
cautious
him
for
at-
fantasy
Scott,
value.
Scott probably has him
I-
like 15 or something.
I have him at 11.
all right. My number 5 is Wicked's least favorite player on the planet.
I'm gonna go.
Dak
I'm
Prescott.
checking out. I'm checking out.
Are we? Who's your 4, Hayden?
4 was Wilson. Sorry.
Okay.
Who's
My
your 4?
4 is Dak, so we can talk
Okay.
about him. Anyway.
All right, my number 10 is Dak.
All right. I got like pretty much one argument for why Dak should
I
be
have
up so high.
I have a couple.
I think like this should just like easy should be first and last argument. He finished 2nd last year,
Mm-hmm.
and he is getting an upgraded offense this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how he drops 9 spots at all.
He finished 2nd last year off of the fact that he got really lucky on a lot of passes. I think teams around him.
I mean,
Like, how
Uh,
can you make that
I
argument?
think other
Like,
teams
what
got
do you
better. I
mean?
think that division is as a whole is getting a little stronger this year. So
That
it's
is
gonna
a valid point.
that's gonna hurt
I
him a
guess.
little bit. I think his offensive line got a little bit worse, so he's gonna get a little more pressure now. Losing
Receivers are better.
I feel like the receivers just got overcrowded adding CeeDee Lamb there. CeeDee Lamb is not going to help him out
That's
really
good
at
for
all.
him. That's good for him. What do you mean?
I feel like it's just not. It's not a better situation. I think it's a worse situation.
Your argument for why Rodgers is going to do better is because his receiving core is going to get better.
Yeah,
And-
I don't
and
feel like
also
his
Dak
receiving
Prescott
core is
just
getting
got-
better.
Dak Prescott just got a pass-first coaching scheme that Aaron Rodgers had when he was
That is
finishing number
also-
1 overall.
I don't think Dak is comparable to Aaron Rodgers.
I don't either, but I think Mike
I don't-
McCarthy is comparable
is
to Mike
Harold-
I don't
McCarthy.
think Mike McCarthy is coming in
True,
and turning
you're right.
Dak Prescott into the next AR. Okay.
You
I don't
think,
either.
You don't think Mike McCarthy's going to run an offense similar that he ran with in
No,
previous
what
years?
I don't think is
Oh my.
like I don't think Dak Prescott's repeating the numbers he put up last year. I don't see that happening. I see him getting sacked more this year because his offensive line got worse. I see that division being tougher to where they're going to have a bigger struggle there. And I feel the Cowboys are probably going to be the worst team in that division almost, if not second worst team in that division.
So you think
So-
they're getting better to the point of him dropping 9 fantasy spots?
I think he's dropping to
No,
number
do
10.
you think that they're the new best division then in the NFL?
No, I don't think they're the new best division.
that
I
case-
think he's.
Well,
I think
then
the
he's not gonna
Cowboys.
drop
The
9
Cowboys are
spots.
consistently up and down, up and down, up and down, and he is going to be at the head of that. I don't think it's going to get better for him. I think if anything, it gets better for Zeke. I think Zeke's going to have a better role in this situation than anything. I mean,
I think
mean-
the Cowboys' defense is going to get a lot worse, and
And
so they're going to have a lot more
side note-
shootouts.
side
That is
note,
true.
obviously not signing the contract last year puts them in a situation of what they're going to do with Dak. So why bring in Andy Dalton if you don't have an idea of maybe we're going to maybe move off Dak or have a kind of a battle here, make him know that he's not untouchable. They
'Cause
brought in
Andy
a
Dalton's just a
9-year
solid
quarterback.
backup option.
No. He's a
Yeah.
solid starting option. Okay,
No.
you guys really need to go
Bengals
look at,
didn't think so.
You need to go look at previous Andy
Yeah,
Dalton years. His first
the
5
Bengals-
years in there with like the options he had, dude was a Pro Bowl quarterback.
The options he had AJ Green. What
That
do you
was the
mean
only
the
option he
I think
had.
He has bad options.
That's the only option he
Yeah.
had.
That's still a phenomenal option.
I mean,
That's-
like
but
he had
that's
nothing
better
else
than
going
most
on for him,
teams.
and he was a Pro Bowl quarterback. He is not brought in to be a backup to Dak. He is brought in to put fear in Dak to take his job. Now, does I think that's going to happen? No, I think he's going to be the backup, but it's not going to be this whole thing that he's only here to be the backup. They're bringing him in, saying, looking at Dak, saying, "You don't want to sign with us, and you don't want to freaking play ball. We're going to take you out and put this guy in." I mean, that's what he's there for.
I think he's a
And I think
Solid
I think
backup option.
Dak cracks. I think he cracks. I don't think he's gonna be that good.
all right. Can we
Andy
make,
Dalton also had Chad Johnson for a year,
1 year.
or Chad Ochocinco at that
Yeah,
time. He
yeah,
had 1,000 receiving yards. It's still a pretty good receiver to have.
1 year.
Yeah.
Got you. 1 year.
All
Andy
right.
Dalton
Well,
saw it early half his career, and the last
So,
4 or 5 years,
can-
he's had a banged up AJ Green and absolutely nothing else. So I mean, Andy Dalton's very serviceable as a starting quarterback. He's better than Ryan Tannehill, and you guys are over here praising Tannehill over here. You probably got him at 6. I mean,
not quite that high, but
like, all right. So
moving
moving on
So,
though from that, that's
no,
why I think Dak is gonna.
did-
Andy
crack.
Dalton hasn't had a winning season in 5 years, but
Yeah, he had exactly what I just said. He's had a banged up AJ Green for about the last 5 years.
so can we make a $50 bet that Dak Prescott is a top 10 fantasy quarterback next year?
Yeah, I'll bet that.
Okay, sweet. I'm taking that. Barring injury, he is a top.
No. This ain't barring nothing here. He's top 10 or
no,
nothing.
you
He's
can't
top
do
10
that.
or nothing.
can't-
No, because I don't
no.
think he's gonna stay the starter in Dallas all year.
That's fine. I'll
So
take
I'm
that.
barring
I'll
nothing
take-
here. He's either
No,
top 10
barring
or
injury,
not.
no.
Top 10
No,
or
he can-
not. I don't care if he
can-
gets
he can
injured or
be-
what. Top 10 or not, take it
No,
or leave
you
it.
can't do that.
Take it or leave it. Top 10 or
he
not.
can- He can
no,
do
Wick
that.
is just scared to make the bet.
I'm
He's
putting it
just
on the
too
table.
scared
I'm
to
putting it on the
bet.
table. I think
Okay.
he's gonna crack. I
You're
think he's gonna
scared.
get injured. And I think he's gonna be off the field, and they're gonna ship him out of Dallas. He doesn't play another year in Dallas. I think it's done for him there.
So
So-
you think he's gonna get injured?
Yes, I think he's going to get injured because I think he's going to be trying to do too much because he's going to have that fear on his back that he's going to lose his job to Andy Dalton, and then he's going to get injured, and then they're going to bring in Andy Dalton. They're not going to re-sign Dak. He's going to hit the market next year. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen.
That is the
And then-
dumbest thing you have said
Okay,
on
all
this
right,
podcast.
we'll see at the end of the year.
Hands down.
We'll see at the end of the year. So my point is, you take it or leave it. Bar nothing.
No.
$50
Is
on the
there
line,
a
I see
reason
top
that you're
10.
an Andy Dalton fan?
I'm not an
where'd
Andy
you go
Dalton
to college
fan. I
at?
just don't think he's bad.
Yeah, well, I'm not taking a
I mean,
bet.
he's good enough to be in the NFL. I'll give you that, but
Good to be a
Not
starter in
having
the
a-
NFL.
not having an amazing wide receiver doesn't make you go from 11-5 to 2-11.
All right, whatever. All right, moving on to
Yeah,
my number 5.
scared.
My number 5 is
Scared.
my number 5
All right,
is
what is
Deshaun
your number
Watson. Deshaun Watson.
I have him at 6.
So
I have him at. He might be my 7, honestly. Which is controversial. I know he is my number 7. I have
it's not
Wilson
that
at
bad.
5. I have Wilson at 5, just for FYI.
I just love how the fact that you guys have Kyler Murray and Dak Prescott over Deshaun Watson. I think hands down he finishes better than Dak Prescott, even if they both play all season.
Why?
Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott.
He also just lost his number one target.
I agree. Yeah, he also lost DeAndre Hopkins.
I don't think that's going to matter.
It mattered for Andy Dalton.
I think he's a better quarterback than Andy Dalton, though. He can handle it without Hopkins.
Oh my!
I think Andy Dalton is a quarterback that needs a target. He needs somebody to be really good.
I think this offense is gonna run like more through David Johnson than people might think.
No, yeah, and I think I think honestly, David Johnson's
That'd be
gonna,
awesome.
is going to catch a lot more passes than people think too. I mean, like
that might be true, but I don't.
Deshaun reminds me of a guy that he has the ability to move on his feet, but I think he likes hitting that running back.
Doesn't.
He likes hitting that running back. So, like,
I just don't really see Watson. I mean, I guess he might rush more because he doesn't have like as good as
he's got good rushing ability. He really does.
But
He
does.
just doesn't like break it out like Lamar does. He shows his arm strength. He shows his ability with his talent with his arm a lot more than other running quarterbacks.
Very skeptical that not having
Like-
a bailout option like Hopkins. Just I think that's gonna take some getting.
I don't
used
look
to,
at
so he'll
Hopkins as
probably
a
have
bailout for him. I look
he'll
at
have a slower
Hopkins.
start.
I don't look at Hopkins as a bailout for him. I'm not. Hopkins is a big play down the field playmaker. I mean,
He's a bailout.
I mean, if you're throwing it to Hopkins only as a bailout, you're not a good quarterback, and I don't see Deshaun that
No,
way.
that's no. Like
Hopkins isn't short next to you to do drop offs to bail yourself out of getting sacked. Hopkins is downfield getting ready for a bomb or getting ready to make a play on somebody.
he does both. But
I mean,
like if Watson is in like the little bit of trouble, he's looking Hopkins and only Hopkins.
I think Hopkins. I think anybody would look at Hopkins in that situation.
That's what I'm saying. And then just
But
having
I
that
don't
taken
think
away.
he has a bailout. I think honestly he has enough. I don't think he's looking at Hopkins every single time, going saying he's my only option. Like Watson's good enough to bail himself out with anybody. Is what I'm saying.
I agree, but I'm just saying having had that, and then just having it taken away, that's gonna get some getting used to. Like I think his first few games are gonna be rough.
Definitely against you on that one. I think Watson has just as good of a year this year as he did last year. I mean,
he could. I'm just saying he might start off slow, and to me, drafting a high tier quarterback, I don't want a slow start from him.
we'll see.
You don't think it's even possible that he would start off kind of slow, like first 2 games?
Not at all.
All right, well, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Like,
I mean, I think Hopkins is great, and I think he's a great player, but I don't think Deshaun utilized Hopkins the way other people look at that option. I think Deshaun's a lot smarter than a lot of the quarterbacks and understands how to use all of his receivers. He had a lot of targets to Will Fuller before he's injured. He had a lot of targets to Coty. He had a lot of targets to freaking like 2 years ago when he had Miller at running back. To him, I mean, he spread the ball equally a lot. So
But
that,
also-
just for
so
that, I
this
just
is
think
my-
he's just going to honestly just go to the next man up. I mean, that's the thought process.
This is my argument. So, like
He did
last
the same
year
thing at
and the year
Clemson.
before that, Watson finished at 5-4,
Mhm.
like solid fantasy quarterback years.
I got him at 5.
This year, he's losing Hopkins, so
Mhm.
Will Fuller becomes the number 1. Will Fuller, maybe it's just like my mindset, but I feel like he gets hurt every other game. So I don't know how often Will Fuller's going to be there for him to throw to, so I dropped him down 1 spot. I think his talent is good enough to keep him up there. But I don't think he's going to be able to.
I never liked watching him like destroy everybody he played in college. Like I hated it. I got over it really fast because he was dominant. But if you pay attention to him in Clemson, I think he's gonna do the same thing he did at Clemson here. And I thought that when he got drafted, and he's been doing it so far. It didn't matter who his biggest receiver was at Clemson. He spread the ball and he learned how to be with everybody. And I think that's just the mindset he has. And that's why going into with the era without Hopkins, yeah, Hopkins is a great receiver, and I think on a lot of people's teams, like that quarterback is going to suffer. But for a player like him and the IQ he has, I really think he's just going to go next man up and start, throwing other options, other targets that he's never utilized. I mean, the people that are coming up, the new person going into the spot, and he's just going to start slinging to that guy. I don't think it matters on who he has as long as they're good. He reminds me of the ability that Tom Brady has to just make anybody a good receiver. I feel like he does that with other people. I don't think Coty is a great receiver. I think he's good with Deshaun. You know what I mean? Because Deshaun knows how to find him, and I think he's just going to do it with the next man up.
I agree, with that to a point.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess. But his receivers just are very injury prone. Like
no, and that's
like
that's a vulnerable
Fuller,
part.
Very,
that's a vulnerable
very
part.
Injury prone. Brandon Cooks also pretty injury prone.
Yeah.
Kenny Stills, I don't think is that reliable as well. So like he's going to be playing like roulette with his receiving options, and I don't think he's going to be able to find a groove. His talent will probably keep him like in like the top 7. I mean,
7's not a big disrespect for him, but I just
like
see him.
The cards are stacked. The cards are.
Oh, they're
really
definitely stacked against him, but I just think he's
them.
good enough and smart enough to figure it out. You mean?
I hope so, because I also like watching him play. He is very talented.
Yeah.
But
that clears my top 6.
Yeah.
Is that your top 6 too? Who's
my
your 5?
6 to my 5 is Wilson, and so we talked about him, and then my 6 is Josh Allen.
Okay.
And that's my 7.
He's my 8. So.
I love this new offense. Like adding Diggs helps him out.
Oh,
a ton.
100%.
Yeah. He finally has that like number 1 go get him. Brown is a pretty good too, and then Beasley in the slot solid. Singletary out of the backfield.
Do they still have Zay Jones? They still have Zay Jones, don't they?
I mean, maybe, but he'll be the 4, I bet.
Yeah, he'll be just lost in transition, but he's still a pretty solid receiver.
And then like his rushing ability too, like he's gonna get a lot of touchdowns near the goal line, I bet. And so I love this guy, and I think 6 is pretty reasonable.
No, I think that's a good spot. I mean, like I said, I got an 8, and I can see a lot of production there to bring him up. I mean, he has the dual threat ability that most people, you look at him and think that he doesn't even have, and then he runs with his feet and makes people look silly for a second and bull rushes through 3 people. It's actually kind of nutty what he does on the ground. It's not expected of him, you know what I mean? But I definitely could see an increase there to bring him up to 6 or 7-ish. But just because of the lack of production with his arm last year, like he has an elite strength there, but his accuracies and his
accuracy will have to improve.
Yeah, it was spotty, and that's why I think Diggs helps him out and brings him up a lot, because Diggs is a playmaker and kind of get the ball wherever he can get it to him. Mm-hmm. But I think he's gonna have to really tone it in a little bit better. I mean, because people are gonna start keying in on the fact that he wants to run 60% of the time. And he's gonna have to. He's gonna start getting popped, so he needs to start keying it in a little bit better and figure out how to utilize that arm.
Yeah, I think Diggs definitely helps him. Allen had 20 touchdowns last year, I think something around there, and I think that's gonna go up with Diggs. Unfortunately for the Bills, they have the second hardest schedule apparently.
Yeah,
coming year.
They do.
Yeah. Their strength of schedule is ranked 31st, so
not good.
Wait,
that kind of worries me a little bit, but
yeah.
No, I still think he's gonna finish top 10, and I still think.
But yeah,
8,
I think
6, 7, somewhere around there is still
good enough.
pretty
The touchdowns
good.
will be there,
especially what he does on the ground.
His rushing ability should keep him afloat.
So that'll help him out a lot. My number 6 is Big Ben.
You're sick. Wow.
Yeah, my number 6 is Big Ben.
That's a bold pick.
I mean, if you look at previous years of Big Ben, it's not really that bold. I mean, yeah, he had AB, but before Juju, he had AB, and that was pretty much it. And he still was a top, 5 or even sometimes
he
lower.
He had Lev Bell too.
Okay, and that's fine, but I think James Conner is very usable at running back.
He's not close to
I didn't say
Lev Bell,
close. I said usable. And Juju is, I think, fantastic. So I think we see a lot more production from him this year, especially with Big Ben there. The offensive line's solid. Big Ben's one of those guys that you just give him a couple seconds to throw the ball, and he's getting it, pretty far downfield. And Juju's the kind of receiver that's going to go get it. So I really see a lot of production here. And I think honestly, if he wasn't injured last year, I think he'd be a top 6 quarterback last year. So, I think we're not losing much production really there. I think everybody looking at it and thinking it's wild because of last year's situation. I don't see a repeating injury, and I think that team and offense has been great, especially in the past. It's been really good and really stacked. So, and I feel like
I agree with that team being good. I just haven't seen enough.
The part everybody's forgetting is last year they had 3 quarterbacks play, and they still finished 8-8. They still won games because that offense still figured it out. And I feel like
that defense.
James Conner and Jalen Samuels figured it out. Okay, they got the points to keep. Defense can do all at once to keep them in the game. That's fine. They have to still score points offensively, and they figured that part out. They still scored points offensively. Didn't hear a word you said. Your mic is completely not working.
I think their defense scored most of their points, honestly.
It honestly did not. But that's why I have it so high. I really feel like we're talking about him coming back from injury and being, I think, just as productive as he was before injury.
I just don't. I just need to see how he does without having an elite wide receiver and running back.
He has an elite wide receiver.
No, Juju's not on the same level as Antonio Brown.
You're right. You're right. He's not on the same level as Antonio Brown. He's better.
We'll see. I don't think that's true.
We'll find out. He outplayed him 2 years ago, but all right.
He did not outplay him.
He outplayed him.
He outplayed him last year.
Well, that's the I'm talking about. His sophomore year.
I'll give you that.
It's 2 years ago at this point, but
No, it's not. It's last year.
Okay, either way, he outplayed him his sophomore season. I definitely feel like that is all the proof I need for that.
Okay. Are you talking about 2018 or 2019?
I'm talking about Juju's sophomore season.
Was he a rookie in 2018? I don't remember.
Yes. Yes, he was a rookie in 2018. AB's last season with the Steelers. Juju's breakout year. Juju outplayed him.
No, we didn't.
Yes, he did.
We didn't.
Yes, he did.
Oh my! I'm gonna have to go look. I have to go
Wait,
look up more stats.
Yeah, what
now.
are you talking about here?
He's talking about 2018. He definitely did not outplay Juju. Juju had a great year, but he did not outplay.
Oh my God. Either way, I think this is the completely turnaround with Big Ben. I think Big Ben is going to be...
Look up Juju's yards and tell me what they were.
Oh,
yards, touchdowns.
Oh, he had 111 for 14, 26, and 7.
Okay, so he outperformed him in the yards by 149.
And receptions, yeah.
And receptions.
How
many did he had? 111. So he had 7 more receptions and 8 less touchdowns.
8 less touchdowns. So.
Yeah, AB had 15 touchdowns.
So not quite.
Fantasy points, I don't know how that equates. I'm sure Antonio had more.
He's probably gonna be more in fantasy, but either way, he outplayed him. I'm not saying in fantasy when I'm saying that. I'm saying he outplayed him for the year. He outplayed him. He outplayed him. That's what I said.
You have to make that distinction because this is a fantasy episode.
I don't even know if you can say that he outplayed him. What is that based off of?
He got more targets, more catches, and had a better catch rate.
How do you know he had a better catch rate? We didn't even talk about that.
I know he had a better catch rate. I've already did the pre-research there. Okay.
Math. What was Scott? What was what's his face's?
Hold on,
what was Juju?
Now. I have to go pull out the tab.
111 out of how many?
He did have a better catch rate.
111 out of how many?
Out of 166. AB had 104
out
of 168.
He had a better catch rate by 4%. So he had 7 more completions? We said 100 more yards and 8 less touchdowns.
Because AB's the deep threat guy. So
from a team perspective, touchdowns is more important than those 7 catches. But
true, very true.
That's okay.
Yeah, as long
Juju
as
did have a great year.
Right.
However,
that's what we're saying. Yeah, he did have a good year. That
Juju
was like I think
outplayed
he
him.
finished 6th.
That's what I'm saying.
Roethlisberger made my top 15 out of respect for like what he was. I have him at 15.
So do I. I have him at.
I think that's just ridiculous, and we'll see about that at the end of the season.
I mean, he got hurt, so like that could definitely happen again. Like something could
It's
happen
not
to
gonna
him.
happen again.
His
unless you
running
$1
back
million.
is like half of what Lev Bell
Well,
was if he's
wait,
healthy.
Hayden,
James
hold on a
Conner's
second.
also injury prone. What?
So you think Ben Roethlisberger is more likely to not get injured than Dak Prescott?
Yes. Moving on.
That's the.
He's
that's
39.
That's the
Dak
dumbest thing I've
Prescott
ever.
is gonna break his tibia this year.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Scott keeps cutting out for me.
I
Is
know,
he cutting
right?
out for you?
I think it's that janky Astros he's wearing or something.
Yeah, janky.
Yeah, hell no. Sorry guys.
That secondary pair of Astros you got laying around your house.
This isn't my.
There's a reason why you're not using them anymore. I got you.
My setup. So I guess my numbers.
Wait, time out. It is your setup. It's just in a different room with somebody else's Astros.
No, it's not. I don't have my monitor or my headset. Like what? I just have my laptop.
That's your setup. That's all you need. That's
Oh, that's not all I need. I need my
all
two
you
screens.
need, brother.
All right, who's your number
Alright.
7? Scott?
I have Watson there.
Oh yeah, we talked about him. Wicked.
What's yours?
Who's your 7?
We already talked about mine too, Alan.
Okay, mine is the goat.
Oh my gosh.
You put Aaron Rodgers on there twice.
TB12.
Nice one.
TB12.
Alright.
I have him at 10. So I mean I can see it.
I have him at 13.
I mean, he has too many weapons to not be a top 10 receiver or top 10 quarterback. Honestly,
But Dak doesn't have
Wait.
enough weapons.
Yeah, you said that Dak has too many weapons, and Tom
So-
Brady has too many weapons.
no, I didn't.
One's
But-
good and one's
but-
terrible. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't either.
I didn't say Dak has too many
Yeah.
weapons. I said he has two.
Yes, you did.
No, I know I did not. I said his damn receivers are too crowded. I don't think Gallup's a weapon. I don't think CeeDee
that's
Lamb's a
many
weapon. I don't think whoever else he has at receivers are weapons. I think they're just players.
Amari Cooper.
Amari
rather have-
Cooper
I
is
guess-
a
I'd
weapon.
I'd rather have either one of those receivers over Gronk.
Over Gronk. Okay, what about Mike Evans?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I like Mike Evans.
Okay, well, so would you rather have any of those receivers over Mike Evans?
No. I
Okay,
didn't
what
say
about
that.
what about Chris Godwin?
I'd rather have Chris Godwin, but I'd rather have Dak
Okay, what
Prescott
about O.J.
and
Howard?
Tom Brady.
I'd rather
Instead of
have
who?
Over any
I'd
of
rather
those
have
receivers? Besides
Gallup or
Amari.
Lamb.
Besides Amari.
I'd rather have.
Yeah,
Gallup
I'd
or
rather
Lamb
have Gallup.
and Lamb.
No one's on the Lamb train but you, okay?
Dude, he's
Nobody
good.
is on the
He's a
CeeDee
good
Lamb
player.
train with you. Are you an OU fan now? Like nobody's
No, I'm
on the
not.
damn
That's
CeeDee
why you
Lamb
don't
train.
like him? Because he went to OU?
Oh yeah, you're
No,
not no. Yeah,
no,
you
I-
hate OU.
I just CeeDee Lamb's. I don't see CeeDee Lamb being that great. I mean, I think he's gonna
You're
be okay.
awful.
I think he's gonna be okay. But no,
Well, yeah, he's competing against Cooper and Gallup.
Tom Brady has a legit
What
top
is
5
what
receiver.
does Tampa
in-
Bay's defense look like this year?
pretty solid.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. They have a legit top 5 receiver in Godwin, a legit top 5 receiver in Mike Evans, and a legit top 5 tight end. So, if not 2 tight ends, they're top 5. They're going to have a top 20 or top 25 running back.
Gronk's
He
a fringe
is
5.
he's
Gronk's
going
Gronk's a fringe 5.
back to what I'm saying, quick cut me off. Tom Brady has a legit weapons, not one good guy and 2 okay guys. Okay, a legit weapons, just straight across the board. Mike Evans can go get the ball anywhere. Gronk's gonna be able to get that ball in the middle of the field. You're gonna have a burner out there in freaking Godwin cutting across the middle of the field, cutting upfield, making people look stupid. And then on top of that, you got Ronald Jones coming out the backfield, floating around and making people fall on the ground. I mean, like, it's gonna be a nasty offense, and I think Tom Brady is going to run with it. I think 7 is honestly just, it might be too low for me to put him there. I mean, he might need to go higher on the list. I mean, but I'm gonna be nice and go with 7. I mean, Tom Brady, in my opinion, finishes with a lot more yards than he had last year. I mean,
I think it's
so
I think it's gonna be not a lot of yards, but a lot of touchdowns. I just, yeah, I mean, like I have him at 10, so like I have him about doing what Aaron Rodgers did last year, but probably more evenly and not as up and down.
Yeah. So Tom Brady has never had like a good NFL season when he doesn't have a strong defense. So I don't know how strong Tampa Bay's defense will actually end up being. While you were, you were like off camera for a second, and I looked at 4 different websites ranking next year's, defenses. One of them had the Buccaneers in the top 10. The other 3 did not. So I am questionable on Tom Brady's ability to play at that high of a level at 43 to be a top.
You can be questionable all you want,
quarterback.
but I mean, I'll put whatever you want to put on it. He's going to be a great quarterback. He's a top 10 automatically, and I think you're absolutely ludicrous if you don't think he's not going to be a top 10 quarterback. What did he finish at last year with absolutely no receivers? Tell me that one.
I have it at
13
10.
or something.
Okay, so
14?
he's just outside the top 10 with nobody, and you're telling me you're going to give the number 1 quarterback to ever play the game 2 top 5 targets and receivers, and he's not going to increase?
Do you base that top quarterback in the game off of Super Bowl wins or what?
No, I base that off the fact that he's literally the best quarterback of all time. If you look at
No, but that's not
production
something you can
levels,
base it on.
if you look at production levels, his QBR rating, any of those numbers, he is the number 1 quarterback.
Then?
His win-loss
Aaron Rodgers
rating,
has the highest QBR of all time. So
Aaron Rodgers' career ain't over.
Well,
Okay,
he's not going to
so-
win 7 Super Bowls or whatever either. 6 Super
Yeah,
Bowls.
exactly. Aaron Rodgers ain't gonna make it. It's
Tom
not-
Brady only won the Super Bowls because of his defense.
You're full
He
of
won
it.
a Super Bowl in 2005 without a top 10 defense, but he hasn't done that since then.
You're full of it. Moving on.
I'm not. Every year he won a Super Bowl from 2005 forward,
I mean,
he had
at what
either
point-
a top 10 or a top 5 defense.
At what point are you just gonna stop hating on Tom Brady and realize how?
It's
good
not
he
hating.
actually
I don't
is?
think he's terrible.
You sound like you do.
No, because people always say that he's the greatest of all time because of the Super Bowl rings, but it's not like he's playing 1 against 11 out there.
I'm not saying he's a great all time because of Super Bowl rings. I'm saying that's a factor.
It's not.
It is a factor. You can't say not winning championships
Maybe like
is
the
not a
smallest
factor.
factor.
If that was the case, then Michael Jordan is not the greatest player of all time in basketball. The rings
I
don't
think
matter.
He is.
I don't.
dude,
I don't personally agree he is
watching
either.
that-
But I
After the
mean,
Bulls thing, dude, he is. He is,
God,
dude.
you're
He's
freaking whack. I hate you.
No, I
watch
hate
that.
arguments that use
My
championship
favorite
rings
player,
as-
and my personal
I don't
opinion
argue.
on the greatest player of all time in basketball is LeBron James. I don't go
I
off of
agree.
just championships. I go off the fact that LeBron James has been the most dominant player for the longest period of time. And I feel like Tom Brady, in a game that is 11 on 11, when you're playing offensively here or defensively, either way,
We're getting off
it's 11 on 11.
topic
I
here
feel
real
like
quick.
he has been in the head of the team on the most dominant team for 20 years. And I think that puts him in a category that no one else has ever been in.
You can't really compare that to basketball because one person plays on offense and defense.
That's what I'm
in
saying.
basketball.
In basketball,
can
LeBron
carry a team.
can carry a team.
Also,
Yeah.
In
Jordan
football-
took a whole
In
year
football,
off.
Tom Brady
came
can't
back and
carry the
won 3
team himself,
championships.
but he does
LeBron
a damn
hasn't
good job of
done
it.
that.
I mean, Tom Brady does a damn good job of doing everything he can for an offense that has no weapons around him for 20 freaking years. There's only 5 years out of any of his runs.
He didn't have any weapons for 20
I just
years.
said out of 5 years of any of his runs that he had legit Hall of Fame caliber receivers. About 5 years of those.
Gronk. Kid Gronk.
He had Gronk for his entire career.
Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
he had Edelman.
Probably
Other
the
than
number
his
one or two
tight
tight end
end,
in
other
history.
than his tight end, he has never had a superstar caliber receiver other than Randy Moss.
Edelman. I mean,
Edelman is not a superstar
phenomenal.
caliber freaking receiver.
He's...
I mean, we can question Wes Welker, but
He
you
won
can't
a Super Bowl
question-
MVP. He won a
Yeah.
Super Bowl MVP.
Edelman is not even in the list, man. Edelman's okay. Let's watch Edelman this year. Let's watch him this year without Tom Brady.
He's also what, 30 something?
Yeah.
He was fine last year, according to you guys. So, moving on.
Oh, that's.
Tom Brady wasn't a factor there.
Oh, why?
All right, moving on.
Yeah, thank you. I'm
About
tired of
time.
talking about Tom. All
So
right.
everyone is.
Tom Brady GOAT for a reason, guys.
That
Yeah,
was
'cause
number
he moves
7.
about as fast as a goat.
So my
He has like
number 8.
11 rushing yards in his career.
So I know, are we ever gonna talk about a basketball episode? Is that gonna come up soon?
A basketball episode?
Yeah, we gotta get some.
Yeah.
This is a
Yeah.
sports podcast, hey, not just football. I know it sounds like just
Okay.
football, but
I don't like basketball, so I probably won't do a basketball podcast.
You're in now though, so you got to do it.
All right. Anyway, moving on. Number 8. I got Matt Ryan there.
Ooh, I got him at. I got
8,
him at,
I have Rodgers.
I have him at 14.
I have Matt Ryan at 11.
So all right, I guess I have to lead the Matt
Yeah,
Ryan.
Matty
hype train.
Ice is all you, bro.
I think that offense is just.
I like Calvin
Like,
Ridley.
It's
Yeah.
He has
I like
solid
Julio.
receiving options. He's gonna have Gurley out of the backfield. His line is all like first rounders, I guess. So
No, yeah.
after
He has
think-
the most upside to be a great quarterback.
and
Mm.
I think he'll not get injured again. So
I think he has the
Or
most
he
upside
won't-
to be a great
yeah.
quarterback. He's did it in the past. He has the ability, but I really just don't see it happening. I feel like he's gonna fall
even
short.
year, he pops off on the even years.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah,
So-
Where do you have Ryan at?
I'm at 14. I mean, like I feel like he's gonna be a top 15 quarterback, and I feel like he has the upside to be higher than that. I just don't see him having the overall MVP status year that he had a couple years ago. I don't see that, and I feel like
I don't see him.
I feel
being
like
a
if
top
he's going to be a top
3.
10, top 8 quarterback, I feel like he's going to be putting up crazy numbers, and I just don't see it. Because I feel like these other guys are going to be putting up some big numbers this year. I think it's going to be a big year for quarterbacks this year. So.
You say that for every position. You said that
Mhm,
for
mhm.
like it's going to be a big year for running backs. It's going to be a big year for wide receivers.
It's going to be a big year for offenses this year, okay?
And then, oh my. All right.
Yeah, I have Matt Ryan
Any-
at 11. I like the
any-
offense. This is where I think Wicked's argument on Tom Brady falls apart because he said any quarterback with weapons like that has to be a top 10 finish. He has Matt Ryan at 15 or whatever, or 14.
Yeah.
I mean, he has Julio
And-
Jones,
and-
Calvin Ridley, and Todd Gurley.
Okay.
That's a pretty stacked offense.
That's
pre-
more. Yeah.
pre the
that's
video, though, I did have Matt Ryan at 12, and I dropped him back. So,
still.
But
I mean,
yeah, I have him
okay.
finishing at 11. His inconsistencies of the past couple years worry me. I didn't have him for his MVP season, or what? Did he win MVP?
I had him for his 2018 season.
I don't know.
where
Maybe it wasn't an MVP season. He was in like the
20
MVP running though.
2016 was his MVP season.
Yeah, so I didn't draft him that year. I drafted him 2017, and he was like the
Oh,
third
where-
ranked quarterback.
Yeah, he flopped that year.
all right.
His
hang on one second,
inconsistencies
though.
worry
Like-
me, but I got to put him at 11 because of his weapons.
Yeah, I get you. All right, we'll take a break right there. Though. Well, we were talking about Matt Ryan and all that, and I was getting
And you-
roasted about not having him in my top 10 because he has weapons. And to my rebuttal for that is, I don't really have one. That's a good point. I probably should have put him in the top 10 for that. Like, I just,
Wow.
I don't,
He's learning, guys. He's learning.
I don't really trust Matty
Not
Ice.
trusting him is fair. Not trusting
Like-
him
Yeah,
is
that is fair.
totally fair.
So, and
He's
that's
let a lot of people down.
That's my only
so.
thing. Like, he's had Julio his whole career.
Including his fans.
You know what I mean? Like, he's had Julio for so long, and yet he's still inconsistent. Like,
Yeah.
That's fair.
it's
That's-
not Tom Brady. I mean, if Tom Brady had Julio for 10 years, we're talking about 10 championships. So,
All right, moving on.
All right. Yeah, moving on.
I ain't
please.
starting that one again.
all right. I
Number
have
8, right?
Number
Yeah,
8, I
number
have
8.
Rodgers.
I have Allen. So let's go to number 9. I have Drew Brees.
I have
I
Drew
believe
Brees
it's
as
10.
well. I have
Okay.
Drew Brees as well.
I mean, I've seen a lot of analysts say that he's gonna be higher on the list. Like I saw him like 6 on some of these reports, and
I kind of want to
Honestly-
move him to 9, to be honest.
I mean, go ahead, give him a 9. Let's all be a 9 fan right now, all right? I like him at 9 only because, like, I feel like he's got the weapons to be really good, but at the
You got
same
Michael
time,
Thomas.
yeah,
His offense is just amazing.
yeah.
Like,
But I feel like exactly. I think Alvin Kamara is gonna
He has Michael
see
Thomas
some
and-
groundwork. I mean,
Yeah.
he's essentially like Big Ben from a couple years ago
Yeah, I
with
mean,
like
well,
I mean-
Lev Bell and maybe.
yeah, I
but with,
think it's a great offense, and I think all that. But I love the way
With
they
more
use Taysom Hill. I love the way they do that thing, and that takes away a little bit from him on that. And I
Well,
just feel
does
like,
it?
I mean, yeah, well, he's not on the
Sometimes.
field. I mean, he's not on the field sometimes. I mean, Taysom Hill comes in as a wildcat
yeah,
sometimes.
for like a play every
Yeah, well,
like
that could be a
two
touchdown.
plays a game.
That could be a touchdown for Drew Brees.
usually doesn't end up. Anytime
But my point is
Taysom Hill
Drew
scores,
Brees
it's-
at
it's
9
a- it's a
instead of
receiving
6. My
touch.
point is Drew Brees at 9 instead of 6. I just feel like he's not gonna have like the overly amazing years that we're used to with Drew Brees. You mean? I feel like
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to throw for 5,000.
Yeah,
I know
that's-
that.
I think
what I'm
he's
saying.
I think he's a safe pick though.
Yeah, I think he's a
He's a
really
very
good pick.
safe
I
pick.
feel
I
like
don't think
he's-
anyone's going to draft Drew Brees and then be like, ugh,
In all honesty, out of every quarterback we
finish
talked about,
25.
he's probably the most consistent. Like, he's giving you numbers every year, in and out. I mean, he is. I mean,
Actually, yeah.
I mean-
Well, like year after year, yeah.
Yeah, he's-
I
he's-
agree.
he's
I would
he's
agree.
always good for like one insane game, and then a consistent run of 20 to 30 point games consistently.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, honestly, he has Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara. That's like guaranteed 2,000 receiving or passing yards
Yeah.
every year.
yeah. I mean, you're guaranteed a 25
Off
point
those
game
two alone,
almost.
yeah.
I mean,
Off
Yeah, that's
those
right, yeah.
two alone.
so it's one of those things where like consistency alone puts him in the top 10, in my opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, I would put him at 9. I would change my rankings and put him at 9 instead of 10.
I like it.
All right, well, moving on. I guess
I do
number
that
10.
because my number 10 guy, formerly number 9 guy, is injury prone like no other. But the
Carson
talent
Wentz?
is fantastic.
Who is it?
Carson Wentz.
I'm about to say, is it Carson?
Carson. I have
Yeah.
Tom Brady at 10. So
I
we
have
can,
Carson at 13.
We can talk about Carson.
I thought you said
Um,
Carson made your top 10 though, Scott.
No, I said you probably had him there. He's
No.
14. He's 14.
Yes, he's 13 for me. I like Carson, and I honestly think he could be a top 10 quarterback. I mean, he could be. You might cut out again. Like this is gonna be the most jank podcast we've had yet.
Yeah, you leaving in the middle of it.
Like, I'm sorry, I had to use the restroom. So, I mean,
I don't know. I think the upside's there that he could be, like fringe top 10. He definitely has the talent to.
He has the talent for sure. It's just
I think Miles Sanders will be involved in the passing game, get him a couple touchdowns.
True. Miles Sanders.
I think it's there. It's, as long as he can stay healthy, I think he finishes no lower than 12.
oh my god, Miles
Yeah.
Sanders in the past game kill me.
Who else is there?
That's another Scott point right there. Who else is there?
Who else?
Miles Sanders got to be the workhorse, do everything because there's no one else on that team.
Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alshon, who
Alshon.
they really want him gone. They want him gone.
I mean, I'm just saying. I like Carson because I feel like he's just talented. I don't like
Got
him
Zach
because of
Ertz.
Miles Sanders. I
Yeah,
like him because
yeah,
he's
Ertz.
talented. I mean,
Goddard.
Dallas Goddard.
I think if he stays healthy, I mean, he was almost MVP his second year in the league. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
that
has
was-
a great
He finished 9
ability.
last year.
He has a great ability at quarterback that other people just don't. Like some quarterback, other people just
Finished 9.
his
Yeah.
his IQ and his arm strength and his accuracies are just really good. I mean, they're just good.
Yeah, he
It's
is
just
a good.
it's
good
just a
quarterback.
healthy point for him, and he just hasn't consistently stayed healthy at all. So for that's why I'm so low.
Yeah.
I would like to see him go higher. I think he's a good quarterback. I really think he has potential there to be something a lot better than what he's at right now. But
If I could take
it's
a
just
late
gonna
round
take
shot
time.
and get him in like the 12th or something, I'd be more than
yeah, I
happy.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally
So
wouldn't
yeah,
mind
he
having
finished
him.
9 last year. The year before that, he got hurt. I think he played like 3 games or something. I don't even know. And
Yeah,
then the
he
year
had a-
before that, he finished 5, only playing 12 games.
Yeah.
So
That
But-
was his MVP-esque year, I think.
yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, as a rookie. So, I mean, I think the potential's definitely there to get 10. Top 10.
She just wants to say hi.
So, like, she got 14 years, and then she's gonna have her own fantasy league.
I guess. I mean,
And then yeah, so that talked about Rodgers, Breeze, Wentz. That finished as my top 10.
yeah, that's
Yeah, Brady has 10 for me.
mine is Dak Prescott,
So.
the overrated player in your guys' ranking.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Overrated.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
so let's run through our 11 through 5 real quick. Let's be quick on. I think some of them are gonna be a lot of like I have Carson.
Yeah.
I have a Carson Wentz at 13. We've already talked about him.
Matt Ryan's at
11.
11 for me. We already talked about him.
I have Kyler Murray at 11, so we've already talked about him. So
Yeah.
12 is Matthew Stafford. We have not talked about him.
Yeah,
I have Stafford at 12.
I have Stafford at 12 as well.
Good numbers there.
All
He's
right,
gonna
all
have
right.
he's gonna have a top 5 wide receiver. So
I mean, he's
Yeah.
gonna have a top 15 receiver, maybe. So I think
absolutely.
I think he has a cannon for an arm, but his consistencies have always been there. Like his inconsistencies, I mean, as in like accuracy wise, he's just like the original chuck it up and let it go. He was the guy that did that before.
Okay, no, Brett
Jameis.
Favre was the original chuck it up and let it
yeah,
go.
Brett Favre. But he did it before Jameis did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like, I think Matt Stafford has a great arm strength and things like that. But I just don't feel like I can't ever say he's gonna be a absolute monster at quarterback. I feel like he's gonna have you like these huge games, but at the same time, the next week he might not get you anything. I mean,
Yeah.
so
He is also kind of injury prone.
no,
if
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember.
And he's been getting older,
bit,
and he's
yeah.
been getting injured more lately. So
Oh, yeah, obviously this past year he finished extremely low because he played like one game, maybe two.
I think he played like
the-
5.
The year before that, he also
Actually.
didn't have a good year, but then the 4 years before that, he finished top 10 every time. So there is
this
definitely a
year,
possibility.
He'll be
So
healthy.
I mean, you never know.
that's
It's
why
Matthew
he
Stafford.
made my top 15.
Yeah, it's Matthew Stafford, so it's okay with me. I mean, like I like Matthew Stafford, and I think like he's a solid pick if you're gonna take him late in the drafts, like round 10 or 12. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
but I wouldn't be grabbing him super high, hoping for him to be your franchise quarterback. So,
Yeah.
Like I said,
Agree.
at 13 I have Carson. We've already talked about that.
13, I have
I got
Brady.
I have Ryan Tannehill.
Oh my God.
Alright, so before we talk about
13.
Tannehill,
We
I
honestly
have
don't need
Brady.
to.
I have Brady that low just because, like, it's a new system. He's old, and I don't really trust him to be a top 10. I think the other people up there are so more like dynamic in their game that I don't know. They feel safer to me.
Side
than
note:
Brady.
do we really need to talk about Tannehill? We've talked about him for 6 episodes
Yeah,
now.
because I have him as my 14.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've really talked about Tannehill for like 6 different episodes
We're
now.
talking
We'll
about
make it.
Tannehill.
We'll make it
Too
fast.
bad. Yeah,
Don't
too
argue
bad.
back. We'll make it fast.
All right, I won't
Again.
say. I won't even
All
say
right,
a word. Go ahead.
Again, we've been saying this. He has.
Oh yeah.
AJ
By the
Brown.
way, he's not in my top 15.
I
I'm
could
not
have
shocked.
missed that.
You
I'm
also
not
don't have
shocked
Dak
either.
Prescott in your top 10, so
He's my number 10. What the hell are you talking about?
You moved him up. You monkey.
I
That's
never
true, you
did.
did
I
move
never
him
did.
up.
I never did. No,
He was your 11.
I never did. He was my 10 the whole time. Kyler Murray's my 11. I said that from the
fine, you
beginning.
still don't have him in your top 9.
Or your top 5 for that matter.
Wait, did you have him in your top 5?
Yes.
Yeah, I have him at 5. He has him at 4, I think.
Yeah, I have it 4.
All right. Anyway,
You hype beast.
Anyway, like that offense is gonna be through Derrick Henry, obviously, but I think the quarterbacks are still pretty like serviceable as far as like what they'll do, because I think that he'll still have to like throw the ball to like be a threat, and he has AJ Brown who just after the catch is phenomenal. And so I think while he might not be like just gunslinging, like he could just dump it off to him, and Brown could just take off on plenty of plays, and I think that'll add up to about a QB 13 finish.
yeah, that's I pretty much agree with that.
Like he has,
I don't know. I think he's going to be consistent enough. There's enough people on that offense that I think he's a pretty safe pick at quarterback.
yeah,
Derrick Henry's going to take away like a lot of the. I think he's going to make it a lot easier on him to throw touchdowns.
yeah. I think so.
Okay. All right. I'm not gonna say anything, and I respect. I hope you guys don't say nothing about my pick 15.
I probably will. Moving on.
I probably will.
15. I have Jared Goff.
I have Wentz at 14.
I
as
had
well.
Matt Ryan at 14. So
Okay. Oh wait, yeah. Who do you have at 14?
Matt Ryan.
Or 13.
Oh, Matt.
At-
Yeah. Okay.
13 was
At
Wentz.
Wentz, okay.
All right. So now we're on everybody's 15, right?
Wait,
Yeah.
who'd you have at
so.
14?
I had Tannehill.
Okay.
I have Wentz.
All right.
Yeah. So my 15 is Jared Goff.
My
It's okay.
yeah. We can.
Okay.
My 15 is Ben. So
Okay. All right. I like Jared Goff at 15. I mean, it's a solid pick.
I think. I mean, I don't know. Robert Woods and Cooper Cup.
He's got the weapons. I mean, he's
So,
got.
yeah, they'll
yeah.
give him enough touchdowns.
It's
yeah,
just-
they'll give him enough. Yeah.
It's just
they'll
that
give him enough,
offense has
I
been
think.
such a sputter in the last 2 years That
Yeah,
it
for
worries
sure.
me completely.
Not having Gurley
yeah.
really worries me about what
Honestly,
they're gonna do.
Goff as a quarterback in LA kind of worries me if he's going to be on my team when his contract runs up. I mean, I don't feel like they love him over there anymore. Like,
Maybe not.
I mean, they extended him, so
Just like looking at the other people though, I couldn't like think of anyone that I'd want instead like over.
true.
Jameis, and that's
Yeah.
about it. Maybe
Cam
Cam.
Newton.
I mean, yeah, if they were on a team, I mean, fantasy draft.
Oh, I thought you meant free agents for the Rams.
No, no.
Sorry. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I could see Jameis or Cam, replacing him. I just mean fantasy draft. I couldn't think of anyone else. Like maybe Phillip Rivers, but
He didn't remember.
Yeah. Who's your?
Are we done talking about Goff? So I'm ending the show on this one. All right.
I mean, I don't know. Do you have anything else
We
to
can.
say? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, not
There's
Jared Goff's
upside,
good.
there's downside.
There's
I think he's
upside
gonna
and
be-
down. I mean, like I said,
He's
I
not
like
exciting.
Cooper Kupp. Yeah,
I
I
think he's
like
an average
not-
quarterback with 2 good wide receivers. I think the potential's there for him to be 15.
Yeah, I mean, I like Cooper
Like,
Kupp.
yeah,
I like
I
Cooper
agree.
Kupp. So hopefully,
Yeah.
if Cooper Kupp stays healthy, I mean, Jared Goff could have a monster year. Honestly,
Yeah.
I just feel like honestly, he's every time I've ever bet on him, he's literally cost me games. I mean, he's been super inconsistent.
True. I've streamed.
I think
whenever
last
I've
year
streamed off,
I got him in a trade because I needed a quarterback. But it was like in our league we have a 5 ad drop rule, or we did last year. I'm not sure if we continue that this year, but I hit my ad
we
drop. I hit my ad drop this week, and both my quarterbacks get ruled out the day of.
Wait, we're gonna limit it at 5
Yeah.
That's what it
for
was
the
last
season.
year. No, it was a week per week.
Oh.
Per week.
But I hit my
I was like,
ad.
bruh.
I hit my ad drop.
That's rough.
Yeah, I hit my ad drop that week,
Okay.
and then I think I had Jacoby Brissett and
Stafford. You
yeah,
had
Stafford.
I
Yeah,
think.
Stafford. And Stafford got ruled out, and then Jacoby Brissett got ruled out day of.
That's rough.
So I had to make a split-second trade, and I ended up getting Jared Goff in this trade. And I had to give up 2 running backs for him because the guy
Okay,
was
I don't
highway
think-
robbing me. No, he was straight robbing me. I remember the trade. It was robbery.
Really?
Yeah, no, it was
Why
Sony
would you do
Michelle and
that?
something
I would
else.
just-
I gave up 2
I would
running
just
backs
lose-
for him.
I would just lose the week at that point.
Got Jared Goff, and I ended up losing by 5 points. And Jared Goff was because he only had 1.8 points. And I was just like, what the
Correct.
I can't no more, man. Jared Goff just
Correct.
completely it was almost better off not having him. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
tanking the week and keeping my running backs. But yeah, so I digress. I don't like Jared Goff, and that's why I didn't put him in my top 15.
I
but-
mean, I didn't either. So.
No, but I mean, I could see it though. I mean, he's definitely a fringe player right there, where he could be a top 15 player. He's got the receivers for it, so I'm okay with it. Totally not a bad perk there. This one's a hell of a reach. I'm gonna get roasted by Scott for sure. I got Justin Herbert there, so.
Oh man.
There's. Where do I start with this? I guess one, he's
Here
we
we
don't even
go.
know if he's the day one starter. Like
He's
I
the day
don't
one
see him
starter.
playing. I don't think he plays 16 games. Like
He
I
plays 16 games. No, but yeah, he plays 17 games because they get a wild card.
no. Well, he's. I guarantee you, he's not gonna play all 16 games.
All the games. He plays every game.
and that.
I mean, if you were forcing me to bet on a rookie quarterback, that's who I would pick.
Yeah, see?
Over Joe Burrow.
He has
Yeah.
more options right now. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I just think Joe Burrow
I mean,
plays
in all honesty, out of all the rookie quarterback
16
landing
games, and
spots,
Herbert won't.
and
I
all
don't
the
think.
in all the quarterback landing spots for the rookies, he hit the jackpot on which one was the best one to go to. He's got a running back that can catch the ball. He's got a
I think
legit number 1.
Jordan Love
He's got a
did,
good
honestly.
number 2. Yeah, but he's not
Long
going to be
term.
the starter. I'm saying as right now, who might get a starting job out of the 3 quarterbacks that might get a starting job day 1? He got the jackpot of which ones to go to.
I
He's
guess.
got the receiver, big body over there
Solid
with
defense.
Keenan Allen, good defense,
Yeah.
good running back, solid offensive line, good number 2 receiver,
He also just
He's
isn't
got
that
weapons.
good.
and he's
in
got a
my
great arm, and he's
opinion.
good. He's accurate. I mean,
Yeah, in
Yeah.
college.
no,
We'll see
not
how
in college.
he
He's
does-
got a freaking cannon, and you're about to see it.
Yeah, in college. We'll
No,
see-
in
we'll
the
see how
NFL,
he
he's
does.
gonna have it. He's got a bomb, bro.
Yeah.
It doesn't. No one said Patrick Mahomes had a good arm in cannon in college. Oh no, he has a good arm in general. That's one of his
Yeah,
things.
because he's proved it.
Side note: last year,
Herbert
number
Herbert
1
hasn't
ranked
proved it.
quarterback to come into the draft. He wouldn't have got he wouldn't have got drafted number 1 because Kingsbury was in love with Murray. But the number 1 quarterback ranked to go in the draft last year and ended up not going was Herbert. Herbert was going to enter the draft last year. He was ranked number 1 above all quarterbacks. Didn't go.
I didn't hear about that.
He was. You can go look that up. He was ranked number 1, and he didn't go to the draft because he wanted to see if he can freaking win a title for Oregon.
And then he dropped 3 spots.
Well, Joe Burrows was a cloud of dust came out of nowhere and was a monster, and everybody knew he wasn't going to be ranked number 1 over Tua. That wasn't going to happen. So, like, he was automatically ranked number 2 in this class.
So it sounds like he's an idiot then, because he just burned a number 1 draft position.
Well, no, he wasn't going to get drafted over Murray because Murray was Kingsbury was in love with Murray. So
still dropped then. So he
pretty sure you got to beat that out right there. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, you heard it. He's getting me flustered.
I mean, I just don't believe in the talent of Herbert, nor do I think
if Herbert starts 16 games, that's like my caveat. If he starts 16 games, I would pick him to succeed more over Joe Burrow because of the people around him.
I just
don't think he played 16
I felt
games.
like I didn't really have a 15th person, and I needed to have some controversy right now. Plus, I figured I wanted to talk about one of the rookies, and I knew neither one of you guys were going to put one on the list, so...
Yeah, I don't remember. Rookie quarterbacks are no unless they can run like
no.
All right. Well, when Justin Herbert finishes in the top 20, top 15 area,
okay, he can finish in the top 20.
When he finishes in this top 15 area, you owe me a steak dinner.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And I'll expect you to fly on out here and buy it.
I'll make that bet if you make the Dak Prescott top
all right,
50.
But the
barring injury.
Top 50? Top 50 barring injury? Is that what you
said? I bet he makes top 50.
I meant top 10. Whoops.
I mean, if you make it top 7, I'll make the bet.
Barring injury?
Yeah.
I'm in.
All right. But my steak bet means you have to fly to Oklahoma. You're buying dinner.
Okay.
Right.
Great. So many. You know, we should just do water bets because that's what the. That's.
I think that's why they started doing water bet.
Money gets too complicated.
We'll have to go back at the end of the season and run through these podcasts to find out what these bets were because no one's writing this stuff
Wick is
down.
going to be in there making edits and stuff. It's going to sound weird.
It's going to be like Robot. He had to make top 1.
It's going to be me like, if Dak Prescott makes top 1, then you owe me $50. Like, okay. Yeah, definitely.
My Herbert's going to be, if he's top 100.
Or top 50.
Straight cheese out here, dude.
But as ever, guys, this will be the end of the show. I hope you guys enjoy. This will be a little bit longer of an episode. I think this will be about an hour 30 is what I'm calculating my time at. I could be off on that.
I think so.
But I'm sorry for all the breaks in this episode. A lot of stuff's going on over here. Obviously, my house was a little crazy. Had to go to the bathroom. Scott's, camera and mic's been messing up a little bit. He's not even in the right house, of course. He had to go borrow Hayden's house because,
borrowed my whole house, dude.
Yeah, it's funny. They're in the same house right now, and they're like one room apart. Instead of just being on the same camera, they could have just shared a camera and talked together.
Yeah, but then mics would have been weird.
I mean, one mic.
I'd have to be like, all right, Scott, what's your take?
Yeah, that's weird.
I mean, I think
Scott's gonna have Scott over here. Wick is gonna say something. Scott's be like, "What? What did he say?"
I think we're all in agreement, though, that you guys need to upgrade your guys' production a little bit. I know Hayden's probably down. Scott's still a cheap ass, but I mean,
you want me to get that whole mic set up?
Well, I'm just talking about that camera.
Heck no.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just a better webcam. You don't have to get the whole.
I don't want to. Yeah.
I mean, this whole setup.
I want to spend money on that.
It's not that much. This kid, man, I swear. I mean, we should all be upgrading our production levels.
But you're talking to the kid that saves up nickels and dimes in GTA. He ain't buying anything.
I know, man. It's just crazy. But as always, guys, I'm gonna end the show. But as always, guys, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. As always, leave us your feedback. Message any of us personally, or our links are in the descriptions for our Twitters. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next episode. I think we'll be doing tight ends, or we're doing a schedule breakdown. One of the two. That's not decided. One of the two is gonna be picked though, and that will be for Friday's episode. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys later.